down into 12.2, lap 1. Evans off 4, checkered flag waves. No improvement for Evans on lap number 2. Drew Schwartz across the line. He'll get it down to an 11.762, 2/10 between these two Pro Mod drivers tonight. And that'll do it for hot laps and qualifying tonight. That was a qualifying session for the Pro Mods. So with that, we're going to take a quick moment, get ready for opening ceremonies, which should be just a minute. While we wait for opening ceremonies to get underway, mod lights, you need to be in staging for your heat. Mod lights, you need to be in staging for your heat. All right, so it's time for opening ceremonies tonight at Coles County Speedway. If you're able, please rise and remove your hats for the playing of tonight's national anthem. Thank you. Now again, back there in the pit area, mod lights, you need to be making your way to staging for your heat race, and then after the mod lights, we'll have the SBS wings. Mod lights, you should be down there in staging, ready to go racing for the heat race. All right, so it sounds like the Mod Lights have been given the command to make their way onto the racetrack. 8 laps the distance for the heat races tonight. On the pole for the Mod Light Heat Race, the number 33D of Jeff Day out of Paxton, Illinois. Alongside him, it's Bo Day, the 23H, also out of Paxton. Joe Boyle, the number 65 out of Kokomo, Indiana, lines up third. Back and forth, the 819 of Chris Grigg out of Charleston, Illinois, will be your starting lineup for the Mod Light Heat Race. Mod Light's going to work their way towards the start cone in turn number 3 and 4. Green flags in the air. Great jump there for Jeff Day. Even better jump there for Joe Boyle. He'll go through to second off the drop of the green flag. Bo Day back to third, and further back he'll drop into fourth as Chris Grigg gets promoted up into third. Chris Grigg getting the elbows out. A little bit of contact with Boyle, and he will find himself in second. The fastest driver in hot laps earlier tonight, the number 819, had to start all the way at the tail of this heat race, as quickly found his way up into second. That number 819 is flying as he works his way back by the stripe with 2 laps complete for the Mod Light Heat Race. Jeff Day going defensive into turns 3 and 4. Grigg tried that high groove, not just there just yet, it looks like in 3 and 4. He's going to try it again in turns 1 and 2, half a lane up for the 819. He'll get a good look alongside on the entry. A little bit of contact, maybe slid a little too far. Jeff Day sideways off turn number 4 into the infield. The 33D will go. He's going to try to get it back rolling. He's going to, looks like, maybe try to tag into the tail of this field as everybody rolls past, and he will be able to do so. We'll go 1 lap down as Chris Grigg now inherits the lead. Joe Boyle, hey, he's picked up the pace, running a 10th faster than Chris Grigg that last lap. 5 laps scored as complete, showing 6 complete this time. I also promoted Bo Day up into third. Jeff Day now 1 lap down for the half spin. White flag in the air for Chris Grigg off turn number 4. And he just set his fastest lap of the race. The 819 flying at the end of this one, and it will roll through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Checker flag waves for Chris Grigg, the Mod Light Heat Race winner. Joe Boyle will come across the stripe in second. Bo Day third. Jeff Day 1 lap down in P4. Up next, the NARA SBS Wings for a pair of heat races. On the pole for SBS Wing, heat race number 1, it'll be the number 21M of Bryce Myers out of Buffalo, Illinois. Alongside him, we can find the 28K of McKenna Crin out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Back in third out of Terre Haute, Indiana, we can find Danny Vicino's number 21V. Alongside him, that'll be the number 17 of Cole Jones out of Streator, Illinois. Carson Eskew will round out the top 5 in this heat race out of Riverton, Illinois, in car 21C. Alongside him on the outside of row number 3 is the number 22 of Tanner Triplett out of Lincoln, Illinois. That's your starting lineup for NARA SBS Wing Heat Race number 1. Again, 8 laps the distance for all of the heat racing tonight. Anytime we have breaks in the action, make sure you go visit the Turn 4 Cafe over at the north end of the facility. Has any food and drinks you might need. Also down there, the Harf tent. Down there selling some racing souvenirs. Been here a couple times before. Great seeing them back at the Speedway. Sounds like we may be waiting on a couple cars to make it to the staging area. Again, that's the NARA SBS Wings that should be in the staging area right now. Okay, so it does sound like Bryce Meyer is not going to make the start for heat race number 1. And so with that, we'll get a new front row. It'll now be Danny Vicino and McKenna Crin on the front row. Also changes row number 2, promotes Carson Eskew up into row 2 with Cole Jones alongside him. Caution flag still waving. Race control just getting everyone back into the correct starting position. Everyone promoted up 1 position. McKenna Crin, the car on the inside with control of the field. Back by the start cone. Green flags in the air for NARA SBS Wing. Heat race number 1. Down into turn 1. Cole Jones tried to take a look to the inside of Carson Eskew. Couldn't make a move stick. Tanner Triplett instead will take advantage of Cole Jones. Little mistake. Jones pinched into the outside wall on the front stretch. Triplett able to nose ahead up into 4th. Trying that middle groove about half a lane up. McKenna Crin, though, out in front, dominating early on. Danny Vicino, P2. Had a good fight for the Drivers' Championship here last year. That number 21V came up just short. McKenna Crin going to complete the halfway point of this heat race. 4 laps complete, 4 to go for the 28K out in front. Vicino P2, half a second back. Carson Eskew, the top 3. No change in the running order. Everybody running very equal lap times outside the top 3. No one's really chasing down each other or losing time. McKenna Crin back off turn number 4 to complete lap number 6 of the 8-lap heat race. White flag waving for the 28K. This time she's migrated up to the high side at turns 3 and 4. And she has herself an over 1 second advantage as that number 28K rolls back through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Checkered flags waving for McKenna Crin on the NARA SBS Wing heat race number 1. With NARA SBS Wing heat race number 1 complete, McKenna Crin your winner. Danny Vicino 2nd, Carson Eskew 3rd, Tanner Triplett 4th, Cole Jones 5th, Bryce Myers did not make the start. Coming up next, NARA SBS Wing heat race number 2. On the pole will be the number 95 Gia Gunnar Griffin out of Ashland, Missouri. Mackenzie Dowler, the 1K out of Springfield, Illinois, will line up alongside him. On row number 2, we can find Audrey Cowden, the 07C out of Terre Haute, Indiana. In 4th, it'll be the 15G of Ashton Glazier out of McCollinsburg, Pennsylvania. Row number 3 inside in the 5th starting spot, the number 14 in of Noah Bartley out of Hammond, Illinois. And the last car on the racetrack in this initial start, the 79H of Kinzer Holloway out of Paris, Illinois. Starting lineup for NARA SBS Wing heat race number 2. And caution lights are out around the racetrack. Gunnar Griffin going to bring the field over to the start cone at turn number 4. He stands on the gas. Great flags in the air. Great jump there for the 15G of Ashton Glazier. Trying to make up a bunch of positions early on. Goes from the top to the bottom. He'll go underneath Mackenzie Dowler into turns 3 and 4 for the first time. With the first lap complete for heat race number 2 of our SBS Wings. To give lap number 1 to Gunnar Griffin. But watch out for Ashton Glazier. That 16G's got a lot of pace. Or 15G's got a lot of pace. Going to try to quickly run down Gunnar Griffin. He'll take a good look to the inside into turns 3 and 4. Stands on the brakes, trying to get a better run off. Side by side for the lead. Back into turns number 1 and 2. Griffin will shut the door. Dowler could have had a good look to the inside of Glazier. Decided against it. And now Glazier going to try to pick back the pace once again. Halfway point for this heat race. 4 down, 4 to go for Gunnar Griffin, who's going to have to really go defensive here on these last handful of laps. As Glazier not going away, not really gaining any time either. Dowler starting to fall off a little bit. 2/10 that last time. Glazier to the inside through turns 3 and 4. Little mistake from Griffin in turn 2. Side by side of the line. Give that lap still to the 95G of Gunnar Griffin. He doesn't have it in turns 1 and 2 though. That high groove just not paying off for the 95G. White flag in the air this time. Ashton Glazier down low. Gunnar Griffin up top. Griffin going to try to get a run down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. He may have something up top. Checkered flags waving. Give it to Ashton Glazier. And a mechanical issue for the 79H at Kinzer Holloway on the final lap. Smoke pouring from the side of the 79H. And Kinzer Holloway climbing out of that race car. Your finishing order for the NARA SBS Wing Heat Race is as follows. Ashton Glazier picks up the win. Gunnar Griffin second. Mackenzie Dowler third. Looks like Noel Bartley was fourth. Audra Cowden fifth. Kinzer Holloway did not finish. Mechanical failure on the final lap for the 79H. Up next is going to be the High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprints for their heat race. Braden Holt, the number 5 out of Metropolis, Illinois, will lead the High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprints to the green in their heat race. Alongside him, the 1 Pia Paxton Belchick out of Alton, Illinois. In third, it'll be the 99 Kia, Kylie Cox out of Fillmore, Indiana. And Nolan Leone, the number 57 out of Mahomet, Illinois, will fire off in fourth for the High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprint Heat Race. Again, 8 laps the distance for all of the heat races tonight. And the Junior Sprints now on the racetrack for their 8-lap heat race. Again, only 4 enter tonight, all 4 of them in this heat race. Braden Holt, Paxton Belchick, row 1. Kylie Cox and Nolan Leone on row number 2. The High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprints work their way towards the start cone in turns 3 and 4. Race control doesn't like it, and they're going to call it back. Looks like the front row went a little early there. It will be going green this time by green flag in the air for the High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprint Heat Race. Braden Holt going to try to cut the door off of the 1 Pia Paxton Belchick off into turn number 1. Just about able to do it and holds on to that lead. Going back into turns 3 and 4 for the first time. Belchick a little lower on exit at the end of lap number 1. And Holt leads a 2/10 advantage over Belchick. Leone in third, half a second back, as they will complete lap number 2. Holt a little faster than the field, about a 10th faster that last lap over Belchick. Both of them trying to find a little bit of a lower exit in turn 4. Everybody setting faster laps as this race goes on. Still the top 3 is Holt, Belchick, Leone. Belchick, a little bit of a lower exit again in turn number 4. Got a little bit of time as they're coming back around to complete lap number 5. Still the number 5 out in front. Braden Holt leading the High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprint Heat Race. Paxton Belchick back there now falls to 6/10 behind the race leader. Leone another 7/10 back. And Kylie Cox still running back there in 4th. Off 4, white flag in the air for Braden Holt on the High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprint Heat Race. Again, setting faster laps every single lap for the number 5 machine as he'll come back through turns 3 and 4. Checkered flags waving for the number 5 of Braden Holt, your High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprint Heat Race winner. Paxton Belchick in second, Nolan Leone third, Kylie Cox fourth. Up next is going to be the Cleveland Grain Systems Outlaw non-wing micros. Luke Easton, 01, going to start us on the pole for the Cleveland Grain Systems Outlaw non-wing micro heat race number 1. Again, a pair of heat races for the Outlaw non-wing micros tonight. Danny Vicino on the outside of row number 1, the number 21V out of Terre Haute, Indiana. On row number 2, we can find the 2X of Seth Buell out of Charleston, Illinois, and Wyatt Walters out of Asheboro, Illinois, the 4W, starting 3rd and 4th. Dawson Wright out of Terre Haute, Indiana, the number 12 will fire off in 5th. Nolan Bartley, the number 14 in out of Hammond, Illinois, will start in 6th for this heat race. Eight laps as the field will come back around, was receive the 1 to green as they work their way back by the flag stand that first time around. Luke Easton, Danny Vicino, again our front row, all 6 made it out onto the racetrack for heat race number 1 of the Cleveland Grain Systems Outlaw non-wing micros. Working their way back by the start cone, green flags in the air. Good jump for Vicino on that outside lane. He found some as Luke Easton couldn't drive it in there deep on the bottom into turn number 1. Still struggling with handling that race car. That's going to be a big shakeup further back in the pack as we see Seth Buell stuck behind him. He'll drop a handful of spots himself. Wyatt Walters up to 2nd at the end of lap number 1. Nolan Bartley 6th to 3rd on lap number 1. Now looking for 2nd on Wyatt Walters. Contact made for 2nd as Danny Vicino having to defend from 2 drivers at once. He'll get it down to single file back into turns 3 and 4. Now the field completely single file through 3 and 4. Seth Buell half a lane up on Dawson Wright. Top 3 under a blanket. 4th through 6th under a blanket. A little bit of contact there for the lead. Noah Bartley got a little bit too close to Vicino on the exit of 4. Now Wyatt Walters trying to take advantage on the high side. 4 laps complete, 4 to go for the first heat race of the Cleveland Grain Systems Outlaw non-wing micros. Vicino doing a great job defensively out in front. Not running faster lap times than the car behind him, but he is putting the car exactly where he needs to be putting it. Bartley going to try to fire it around the outside through turns 3 and 4. Gets the run down the front stretch. Can't do anything with it. Makes a little contact with Vicino. Lets Vicino know he's there. We're looking for the white flag this time on the first heat race for the Cleveland Grain Systems Outlaw non-wing micros. White flag in the air again. Bartley laying the bumper into the back of the 21 via Danny Vicino. He'll have a shot into turns 3 and 4. He'll try to drive it in down low. Checkered flags waving. Danny Vicino holds on for heat race number 1 win of the Cleveland Grain Systems Outlaw non-wing micros. And Luke Easton, the handling with that race car, goes a little worse for the 0-1. Goes for a self-spin at the end of the race. Again, Danny Vicino, great defense for the 21V, takes the win in the first heat race for the Cleveland Grain Systems Outlaw non-wing micros. Nolan Bartley 2nd, Wyatt Walters 3rd, Seth Buell 4th, Dawson Wright 5th, Luke Easton was your 6th place finisher. Heat race number 2 coming up next. Dion Felty, the number 4 out of Sullivan, Illinois, your pole sitter. Alongside him, will be the 15G of Ashton Glazier out of McCollinsboro, Pennsylvania. Tyler Taylor, the 3rd place driver. The 88T out of Danville, Illinois, will line up alongside the 25R. Nathan Rector out of Xena, Illinois. Steve Myers, the 121 out of Bethalo, Illinois, will fire off 5th, and alongside him, the 95G of Gunnar Griffin out of Ashland, Missouri. That's your starting lineup for heat race number 2 of the Outlaw non-wing micros, presented by Cleveland Grain Systems. And it looks like Myers had a little bit of trouble getting out onto the racetrack, so caution flag waving. And it looks like Taylor may have also had issues himself. Those drivers get their engines fired, and they're going to work their way back around to the field. 1 to green has been given. We'll see if Taylor can catch the tail of the field. He might just be able to do so. Yes, they will go 1 additional caution lap. Again, race control was hoping Taylor could get up there into a starting spot in time. Just not enough time to go green. We'll go 1 to green this time. Coming back to the flag stand. Again, Dion Felty, Ashton Glazer, the front row. Tyler Taylor, Nathan Rector, row 2. Row number 3 includes Steve Myers and Gunnar Griffin. For heat race number 2, the Cleveland Grain Systems Outlaw Non-Wing Micros. They'll work their way through turns 3 and 4, looking for the green flag. Glazier a little early on that jump. Race control isn't going to call it. Green flag in the air. Glazier trying to power back around the outside. Dion Felty had nothing for him. Taylor's going to fall back into 4th. As Rector trying to get a crossover move. Gets it on Felty. He'll drive it in deep into turns 1 and 2. Little slider right there. Has to shut the door on Felty again on the exit of 2. He will be able to complete that pass for 2nd. Tyler Taylor now working on Dion Felty right away himself at the end of lap number 2. Felty lets him by down low, it looked like. Felty just trying to get into a groove right now. That number 4, Griffin a little too low up over the berm in 3 and 4. Didn't lose any time. Griffin running 5th, Myers 6th. Ashton Glazer out in front, 6/10 the advantage over Nathan Rector now that Rector's clear of traffic. Rector might have something for him. Yes, he does. He got a 10th that last lap. Halfway mark of the heat race. 4 down, 4 to go for the second heat race of the Cleveland Grain Systems Outlaw Non-Wing Micros. Rector all over the back bumper of Glazier back into turns number 1 and 2. Rector again trying that late apex approach around Coles County Speedway tonight. It's paying off for him very well. Glazier, I don't think he knows that's the line he's running. Rector just able to slowly bite into that lead. He's going to have to set this move up for the white flag lap. He'll get the white flag. White flag's in the air. They're side by side for the lead. That lap did go to Ashton Glazer. Glazer crosses back over. Rector going to try to drive it in deep on exit. Glazer sideways, but is going to hold on for the win in heat race number 2 of the Cleveland Grain Systems Outlaw Non-Wing Micro Heat Race. Man, Glazier really had to drive that thing defensively in 3 and 4. Wasn't happy with the handling of that car, you could tell. Coming back to the checker, Nathan Rector, great effort there. As he goes from 4th to 2nd in this heat race. Tyler Taylor 3rd, Dion Felty 4th, Steve Myers 5th, Gunnar Griffin 6th. Up next, going to be the Paints, Ink, and Apparel Restricted Micros. For 1 heat race, Jackson Cates, the number 36 out of Springfield, Illinois, will be on the pole. Alongside him, the B8 of Blake Dishman out of Bismarck, Illinois. Niles Tudor, the number 14 out of Harrisburg, Illinois, will line up 3rd. Henry Snyder, the number 21 out of Lincoln, Illinois, will start 4th. RJ Smith, the 11S out of Springfield, Illinois, rounds out the top 5 in this heat race. Dalton Clary, the number 22D out of Marine, Illinois, starts 6th. And back there at the tail of the field in a row all by himself, the number 12 B, A.J. Barber out of Argenta, Illinois, will start in 7th in the Bates Ink and Apparel Restricted Micro Feature. Get a couple of extra caution laps here as the field catches up to Blake Dishman. Caution lights go out this time around. We'll be headed green on the Bates Ink and Apparel Restricted Micro Heat Race. Jackson Kites, Blake Dishman, your front row as they work their way towards the start cone at turn number 4. Green flags waving. Front row very equal off that jump. 3 wide for 3rd behind them as Henry Snyder finds something on that high groove, trying to work his way forward. He'll go 3 wide again. Dalton Clary down low. Just enough space for the number 22D to find himself up into 2nd. Dishman continuing to fade as Snyder goes by on the high side. He's going to try to pull Niles Tudor with him. Jackson Cates will come around, lead lap number 2. Clary, his lap time a 10th faster that time, 6 to go. Low entry there to turn 1 for RJ Smith, just able to get the car woed up in time. He will pick off Niles Tudor into turn 3, 4, 5th. And Niles Tudor had nothing for him on exit. Blake Dishman still struggling, trying to hold on. Defensive maneuvers for the B8. How about up in front again? Dalton Clary is very quickly closes his gap to Jackson Cates. Just 3/10 the advantage for Cates at the line that last time around. 5 laps complete this time for the number 36 out in the lead. RJ Smith trying the outside. Blake Dishman isn't able to find something just yet. Ooh, not quite white flag. It'll be 2 to go this time for Jackson Cates. Dalton Clary's car definitely faster than the 36 at the moment. Dalton Clary started 6th, has his way up into 2nd, looking for the heat race win. White flag in the air for Jackson Cates. Can he be defensive enough on this final lap off turn 2? Is that a big enough gap for the number 36 into 3 and 4 for the final time? Checkered flags waving. Jackson Cates holds on for the Bay Ticket Apparel Restricted Micro heat race win. Everyone else back across the stripe. Niles Tudor, a big mistake on that final lap, drops a couple positions down into 7th. But Jackson Cates, your heat race winner for the Bates Inc. Apparel Restricted Micros. Dalton Clary, 6th to 2nd in the number 22D. Henry Schneider, 3rd. RJ Smith, 4th. Blake Dishman, 5th. AJ Barber, 6th. And Niles Tudor was your 7th place finisher. One final heat race tonight. It's the Pro Mods for their heat race, the first class towing dirt car Pro Mods. J.D. Evans, 59 out of Mattoon, Illinois, on pole. Alongside him, the 21 JR, Drew Schwartz out of Ashmore, Illinois. All right, Pro Mods making their way out onto the racetrack now for their heat race. Don't forget, cars just like this going to be racing on Sunday night as well for the John Shipman Memorial alongside the American Sprint Car Tour. J.D. Evans, Drew Schwartz, your field for the first class towing Dirt Car Pro Mods tonight. Work their way through turns 3 and 4. And green flags in the air for the Pro Mod heat race. Evans, good enough jump down low. Can he try to keep the nose ahead of the 21 JR? Yes, he can. Off turn number 2. Evans now going to slide up the racetrack. Schwartz going to go down low, trying to keep his nose right on the back bumper. Number 59 back into turns 1 and 2. Schwartz a little better on the bottom than Evans is on the top in 1 and 2. They're going to be side by side off turn number 4 for the lead. Contact made there. Schwartz lines up a little too high. Now both go down to the bottom in 1 and 2. Schwartz really going to have to be thinking about where am I going to make this move, because it looks like right now Drew Schwartz, the faster of the two drivers, he'll migrate back up to the top of turns 1 and 2. Couldn't get the car turned, it looks like. And now really struggling with the handling to come off turn number 2. Drew Schwartz falls, looks like about 2 seconds behind the race leader, J.D. Evans, is a second and a half. But we'll see if Evans can hold on to this lead. 4 laps complete. We'll come around to complete lap number 5. And now that Drew Schwartz has a little bit of clean air, we'll see what kind of lap times he can put in at the end of this heat race. Pretty equal for the two drivers as they come back around to 2 to go this time for the first class towing Dirt Car Pro Mod heat race. Evans now pulling away in that number 59. White flag in the air for J.D. Evans off turn number 4. Drew Schwartz back across the stripe in second. Evans down the backstretch and into 3 and 4 for the final time. Checkered flags waving for J.D. Evans in the first class towing Dirt Car Pro Mod heat race. Drew Schwartz across the line in P2. Up next, going to be the first feature of the night. It'll be the High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprint feature. 10 laps for the Junior Sprints tonight. Braden Holt, the number 5 out of Metropolis, Illinois. The pole sitter over Paxton Belchick, the 1P out of Alton, Illinois. Noah Leone, the 57 out of Mahomet, Illinois, starts 3rd. Kylie Cox, the 99K out of Fillmore, Indiana, will line up and start in fourth. That's the lineup for the High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprint feature, which will be coming up in just a moment. Again, back there in the pits, junior sprints, you should be in staging for your feature. Junior sprints, you should be in staging for your feature. So the junior sprints making their way out onto the racetrack for the first feature of the night. Looks like race control ready to go racing. Caution lights go out around the racetrack. It's Braden Holt, Paxton Belchick, again your front row. They'll be chased by Nolan Leone and Kylie Cox for this 10-lap feature. The High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprints work their way towards the start cone at turn number 4. Caution's going to come back out. It looks like Belchick may have jumped the start. And race control calls them back. 1 to green again for the drivers. Caution lights go out. Braden Holt going to bring them back to the start cone. Green flags in the air. Good jump there for Belchick. He'll jump to the lead. Off into turn number 1. A little bit of contact right front over left rear for Braden Holt. Over the tail end of the 1P of Paxton Belchick. No caution as Braden Holt into the infield. And brings his car to a stop. 1 lap complete. Paxton Belchick got a massive lead out of that contact. 2.5 second lead over Nolan Leone. And quickly extending that out in front. Kylie Cox running in third as Paxton Belchick continues to run away in this High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprint feature. 2.9 the advantage for the 1P out in front. Looking for his 3rd win of the year here at Coles County. Five laps complete, halfway point for the junior sprints. In tonight's feature, the High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprints come around. They'll complete lap number 6 for Paxton Belchick, a 3-second lead. As that 1P, again, fastest lap of the race at 12.0 that last time around. Rest of the field turning 12.2s and 12.7 for Kylie Cox crossed the line that last time around. So again, Belchick, your leader, Paxton Belchick, the number 1P. Nolan Leone, the driver in second, the number 57. Kylie Cox third, the 99K. Unfortunate contact off that start left Braden Holt out of the race as they came off turn number 2 on lap number 1. White flag in the air for Paxton Belchick. For the final time into turn number 1 goes the 1P. And down the backstretch, Paxton Belchick going to see the checkered flag this time. He'll take the win for the High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprint feature. Nolan Leone comes back across the stripe in a second. And third will be the 99K of Kylie Cox. Braden Holt credited with a 4th place finish. Paxton Belchick out of the race car, your High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprint feature winner tonight at Coles County Speedway. All 10 laps led for Paxton Belchick. It's your 3rd win of the year here at Coles County. Walk me through how you got it done.
I couldn't have done it without my dad. He's been working on cars so hard.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great race car tonight. You kind of had to take advantage of that initial start on the high lane. Did you know you were going to be clear of Braden Holt off that jump?
No, I didn't.
Well, it was good racing. Anyone else you want to thank?
My mom, my dad, my sister, Mal Salvage, Fire and Ice, Bonte Seed, HRC, Cisco Lawn Care. That's it.
All right. Once again, your High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprint feature winner, Paxton Belchick. We're going to take a short intermission before the rest of the features get underway. Let the track do a little bit of work, or let the track crew do a little bit of work on the racetrack. See, track crew already underway with the work. Shouldn't be too long of a break during this intermission. Don't forget to visit the Turn 4 Cafe over at the north end of the racetrack, right off turn number 4. We'll be back in a handful of minutes for the Mod Light feature. Don't forget, while you're down there getting some food and drink at the Turn 4 Cafe, don't forget to check out the Hoosier Auto Racing Fans tent, also down there right next to the restrooms. All right, so it sounds like we're ready to go back racing with the Mod Light feature. Five features left to run following these, well, including these Mod Lights. 10 laps of distance for the Mod Lights tonight. Chris Grigg, the 819 out of Charleston, Illinois, your pole sitter. Alongside him, the 65, Joe Boyle out of Kokomo, Indiana. Then the two drivers out of Paxton, Illinois, the 23H of Bo Day and the 33D of Jeff Day. Chris Grigg going to bring the Mod Light field toward the start cone. Green flags in the air. Not a good jump for the 819. Joe Boyle will go ahead to the lead on the top side through turns 1 and 2. We'll see, though, Chris Grigg, very quick race car in that heat race and in hot laps earlier tonight. See if that 819 can get his nose back ahead of the 65 of Joe Boyle. Boyle back up around the top of the racetrack. 4/10 the advantage. Chris Grigg trying to keep his car down low through 3 and 4. He'll get the nose alongside on exit. Wasn't quite alongside. He'll try to throw a little kind of a mini slider into turn 1. Got a little crossed up there. He'll drop back. About a second, it looks like. And that car still sideways off turn number 4. Super loose for the 819. Jeff Day has found his way up into third. Got around Bo Day relatively quickly. Now Joe Boyle out in front. That's a little bit of breathing room as they complete lap number 4 over Chris Grigg. 8/10 the gap at the line. Grigg was 4/10 faster that last lap, though. Grigg's a lot better in the middle groove. His car seems to be set up for that middle to high line. That's why he's so loose on exit down low. He's very quickly closed that gap back in. Chris Grigg drives it in deep into 3 and 4. Slides up in front of the 65 of Boyle, and Chris Grigg will lead his first lap of the race just past the halfway point. 6 complete, 4 to go for now. Chris Grigg in the lead of the Mod Light feature. Chris Grigg in control off turn number 4 over Joe Boyle, Jeff Day, Bo Day, the field. And now Chris Grigg with clean air out in front of him very quickly, pulling back ahead. And pulling away from Joe Boyle. Boyle with that phenomenal initial jump got him to lead the first 5, and it looks like Chris Grigg going to try to lead the last 5 as he'll work his way back off turn number 4. White flag in the air for the 819 of Chris Grigg. Grigg off 2 for the final time into 3 and 4. Checkered flags waving for the Mod Light feature, and it'll go to Chris Grigg out of Charleston, Illinois. Joe Boyle second, Jeff Day third, Bo Day fourth as they come back across the line. Here he comes out of the race car, Chris Grigg, your Mod Light feature tonight at Coles County Speedway. All right, Chris, there's no doubt you had the car to beat tonight. Not at all. But you had a little bit of a mishap there on the initial jump. How did you plan to get back by?
Well, I just pinned it, man. This bone stock Yamaha, it came through tonight. Track was great, so smooth, and as long as you didn't blow the corner, you know, you could get a good run. And I knew after hot laps we had something, so I just want to thank all my family, my friends that come out support me day in, day out, and all the boys back home me out at the shop. So we got another one, boys.
All right, thank you, Chris. Congratulations once again to Chris Grigg, your Mod Light feature winner out of Charleston, Illinois. Up next, the SBS Wing feature. Looks like the NARA SBS Wings slowly making their way to staging down there. 12 cars, 20 laps, the distance for the NARA SBS Wings. Ashton Glazier's number 15G. Got to start on the pole out of McCollumsburg, Pennsylvania. McKenna Crin will start alongside the number 28K out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Danny Vicino, the number 21V out of Terre Haute, Indiana, will start in third. Carson Eskew, the 21C out of Riverton, Illinois, the outside of row number 2. We can find on row number 3 Gunnar Griffin's number 95G out of Ashland, Missouri. Tanner Triplett, the number 22 out of Lincoln, Illinois, will start in 6th. Mackenzie Dowler in the 1K out of Springfield, Illinois, fires off 7th. Nolan Bartley out of Hammond, Illinois, the number 14 in, starts 8th. Cole Jones, the number 17 out of Streeter, Illinois, 9th. Aldrich Howden, the 07C out of Terre Haute, Indiana, the top 10. Kinzer Holloway, the 79H out of Paris, Illinois. Bryce Myers, the number 21 in out of Bethalo, Illinois. Your 11th and 12th place starters for this NARA SBS Wing feature. One to green has been given and received to the drivers. Ashton Glazier going to bring the NARA SBS Wings to the start cone. Green flag in the air. Glazier, great jump. McKinnon Cred tried to drive it up way high on the initial jump. Didn't find anything up there. So Ashton Glazier will lead lap number 1. Looks like he'll lead lap number 2 as Mackenzie Dowler got sideways there through 3 and 4. She gets it gathered back up. We stay green. Tanner Triplett looking underneath Danny Vicino for the 3rd spot, and Triplett will complete that move off into turn number 1. Behind him, Eskew underneath Bartley to hold on to the 5th position. As out in front, Ashley Glazer half a second clear McKenna Crin and pulling away. Now single file throughout the top 4. First car down on the bottom, Carson Eskew, the 21C, trying to find something on the 21V of Danny Vicino. That battle for 4th. That's still up in front. Ashton Glazier no longer pulling away from McKenna Crin. McKenna Crin reeling the race leader back in. 5 laps complete. We'll have 14 laps to go in the NARA SBS Wing feature. Still completely single file for the field as they work their way back by the flag stand, completing lap number 7. Vicino continuing to fall through the field as Gunnar Griffin working underneath him for the 6th spot back into turns 3 and 4. Triplett himself under pressure from Eskew on the exit of 4. Looks like Triplett got a little sideways as out in front, Glazier now clear by a 1.5 seconds of the race lead, and he has worked his way into lap traffic. Ashton Glazier going to quickly pick off Audrey Cowden and Kidser Holloway. No issues there. Halfway mark this time, 10 to go for Ashton Glazier in the NARA SBS Wing feature. McKenna Crin's car has just fallen off very quickly. I don't know so much her car's just fallen off super quick, or Ashton Glazier's car has just come alive. 9 laps to go, and that car's still running fastest laps of the race. In that number 15G, a 2.5 second lead as McKenna Crin gets into lap traffic for the first time. Tanner Triplett not that far back, only about a second, got half a second as they worked their way into lap traffic. Bartley on top of Carson Eskew as Eskew an issue off turn number 2. Into the infield goes the 21C. Crin finally gets by, and she'll go through to second. A little slip up there. Triplett has to gather it up himself to not run into her. They'll still run second and third respectively. Fourth now, Nolan Bartley. Fifth, Gunnar Griffin is your top 5. 5 laps to go for Ashton Glazier in the lead. 3.5 seconds. The lead for the 15G is trouble for Cole Jones. Something in the brake system, it looks like. That car locked up, and the caution's going to come out. McKenna Crin, evasive action. And luckily, no one making contact with the 17 of Cole Jones. The caution comes out with 5 laps to go in the NARA SBS Wing feature. That's our first caution of the night in a feature. Definitely looks mechanical for the number 17 of Cole Jones. Sparks were flying underneath the number 17, and it was rolling through turns 3 and 4 as Glazier got by him. So with 5 to go on this restart, Ashton Glazier will lead the NARA SBS Wing feature back to green. McKenna Crin in second. Third, Tanner Triplett. Fourth, Gunnar Griffin. Fifth, Danny Vicino. Mackenzie Dowler sixth. Nolan Bartley into the infield was going to be up there himself. Cole Jones back across the stripe will be scored as restarting 7th, it looks like. Well, if he's being scored as the 7th place car. Of course, he will have to drop to the tail for being the caution vehicle if he was able to get going, and it doesn't look like he will. Still got to get Vicino back into his correct position. And Cowden will also be at the tail of the field. And we see the 14 in Nolan Bartley's car being pushed into the infield as well. Caution flag remaining out on the racetrack. Kinzer Halliday at some point pulled it into the infield, now being scored in 9th. Audrey Cowden will make the pass as they drop the green flag. No, she will not. She also pulled into the infield. So we'll have 5 laps to go for the NARA SBS Wing feature. Glazier, Crin, Triplett, your top 3. As they work their way back to the restart cone in turns 3 and 4. Green flags waving. Good jump there for Glazier. McKenna Crin going to have real big pace in that number 28K to have a shot at the win. Caution's back out. Race control saw something in 3 and 4. And yeah, Vicino's tire came off. And it does look like red flag going to be out. So Vicino now marked as out. So that right rear tire came off the race car on that restart. 1 to green this time. No change in the restart order with no laps officially in the books. Still Glazier, Corinne triplet. Your top three. Now it'll be Griffin in a fourth. And Dowler, the fifth final car in the field. Green flag back in the air. Glazier diving at that restart cone this time. 5 to go still in this feature. Again, Corinne had to find something on this restart. Car just not firing. Corinne going to drive it in deep to 3 and 4. Don't think it's going to pay off. She's probably going to try it again in 3 and 4. That was one of her faster laps over this last handful of laps. But still, Ashton Glazier with control of this field and very quickly trying to pull away again. Corinne equaled the lap time that time. We'll come around. 2 laps to go this time for the race leader in the NARA SBS Wing feature. 7/10 the gap between first and second. Glazier, Corinne equal on the racetrack in these final laps. White flag in the air for Ashton Glazier. He'll go back to the high side to turns 1 and 2 on this final lap. Into 3 and 4 for the final time in the NARA SBS Wing feature. Ashton Glazier going to pick up the win. McKenna Corinne second, Tanner Triplett third, Gunnar Griffin fourth, Mackenzie Dowler in fifth were the cars that finished. He's out of the car. Let him hear you. Ashton Glazier, your NARA SBS Wing feature winner tonight at Coles County Speedway. Ashton, it's your first start here in 2026 at Coles County Speedway, but it looks like you didn't step down and pace at all from the last time you were here. Talk me through your night and how this car kept its pace all through that feature.
Well, we were pretty good in hot laps. This is my first time in Wingless Outlaw. We were doing pretty good, and I'm just stoked to get a win here this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone you want to thank?
GMP Distributors, my family, God, and Carver Racing, Eric and Joey from Carver, and everybody else that helps me get here.
All right, thank you again, Ashton. Again, this is your NARA SBS Wing feature winner, Ashton Glazier. Rest of that finishing order in the feature included Danny Vicino, 5 laps down in 6th, Cole Jones in 7th, Nolan Bartley 8th, Kinzer Holloway 9th, Audrey Cowden 10th, Carson SU in 11th. Bryce Myers did not make the start. And attention in the pits, non-wing Outlaw Micros. You need to be in staging for your feature. Outlaw non-wing Micros. You need to be in staging for your feature. So again, the Cleveland Grain Systems Outlaw Non-Wing Micros, the next feature up. 15 laps will be their distance tonight. Again, another 12-car feature. Noel Bartley's number 14 in out of Hammond, Illinois, will line up on pole for the Outlaw Non-Wing Micro feature. Alongside him, the number 21 via Danny Vicino out of Terre Haute, Indiana. Ash and Glazer looking to double up on features tonight. The number 15G out of McCollinsburg, Pennsylvania, lines up third. Nathan Rector to his outside. The number 25R from Xena, Illinois, in the fourth spot. Back in fifth, we can find the 4W of Wyatt Walters out of Ashmore, Illinois. Then the 88T alongside him out of Danville, Illinois, the driver of Tyler Taylor. Seth Buell out of Charleston, Illinois, the number 2X, starts 7th. Dion Felty, the number 4, out of Sullivan, Illinois, will start 8th. Dawson Wright out of Terre Haute, Indiana, the 12 car, starts 9th. Rounding out the top 10 will be the 121 of Steve Myers out of Bethalo, Illinois. Then back in 11th on the 6th and final row, it's the 95G of Gunnar Griffin out of Ashland, Missouri, joined by Luke Easton, the 01. He'll be starting 11th and 12th respectively in this Outlaw Non-Wing Micro feature, brought to us by Cleveland Grain Systems. All right, the Cleveland Grain Systems Outlaw Non-Wing Micros now on the racetrack for their feature. Again, 15 laps is their feature distance tonight. Running you back through that starting order: Nolan Bartley, Danny Vicino, row 1. Row number 2, Ashton Glazer, Nathan Rector. Wyatt Walters, Tyler Taylor on row number 3. Row 4, Seth Buell, Dion Felty. Row 5, Dawson Wright, Steve Myers. And row number 6, Gunnar Griffin. And it looks like it will be just him. It looks like, unfortunately, Luke Easton not joining us. I know he is out here. There is Luke Easton, so we're short one other car. And that does appear to be the 121, Steve Myers, that did not make the start. The caution lights are out for the Cleveland Grain Systems Outlaw Non-Wing Micro feature. Bartley down on the bottom, standing on the gas, green flags in the air for the Cleveland Grain Systems Outlaw Non-Wing Micro feature. Take a look at this, 3 wide by Nathan Rector, down low into 3. Oh, big contact there. Tyler Taylor ramped over the left rear tire, and the caution's going to come out. Everybody scrambling to find space on the front stretch. Taylor drove it in deeper than I think he was expecting to. Caught the right rear of Nathan Rector's car. Rector himself drove it in super deep into 3. And Taylor just ramped over that right rear tire off Nathan Rector's car. Doesn't look like too much damage for the 25R. Imagine it's not going to be the same deal for the 88T of Tyler Taylor. See if he can try to continue. It's a pretty hefty contact on that front tire. Again, field going to be doubled up once again for a race restart. So we did not complete 1 lap under green. The field doubles back up on the front stretch. This time with the 88T to the tail if he can continue. And it does look like Taylor will attempt to continue. So the field now getting organized. And the caution lights will go out once again for the Cleveland Grade Systems Outlaw non-wing micro feature. Field working their way down the backstretch. Caution lights out for these Outlaw non-wing micros. Again, Nolan Bartley, Danny Vicino, your front row for the Cleveland Grade Systems Outlaw non-wing micro feature. Green flags back in the air. Much more organized start this time. Nathan Rector took a good look. Middle 3. Seth Buell himself got put middle 3 just behind them. They'll get it sorted back down to at least double file. Vicino under pressure from Glazier. Glazier chopped on the brakes, I think a little earlier than Rector was expecting. Rector ran him over, and it's incredible we didn't just have a caution right there. Everybody able to keep it clean. And we do stay green to complete our first 2 laps under green. We have a handful of cars under a blanket going back into turns 3 and 4. Ashton Glazier under pressure from Danny Vicino's number 21V. Rector himself, as the pace has fallen back a little bit. Same deal for Wyatt Walters. Walters is running equal lap times to the race leader of Nolan Bartley out in front. Wyatt Walters, I think, just stuck in a tough spot. I mean, we know Walters has the pace, was the fastest car in hot laps earlier tonight. And Walters running in 5th, wanting to clear this traffic as quickly as possible. But something broke on the 88T. Going off into turn 3. He's going to continue. Tyler Taylor, something definitely broken for the 88T. He's going to try to keep it going on the racetrack, though. Just trying to survive at this point. Now the top 5 completely single file as they work their way back by the flag stand. Off turn 4 this time. Nolan Bartley will complete lap number 7 in the lead. Showing 8 left to go on the boards. Ashton Glazier trying to run him down. Was 2/10 faster that last lap. Bartley going to have to find something as Taylor will finally peel into the infield. Trouble turns 3 and 4. Dion Felty goes for a spin. Brings out the caution once again in this race just past the halfway point. Showing 8 complete, 7 to go in this Cleveland Grade Systems Outlaw non-wing micro feature. Nolan Bartley going to bring us back to green. Ashton Glazier in 2nd. Nathan Rector 3rd. Danny Vicino 4th. Wyatt Walters the top 5. Seth Buell 6th. Dawson Wright 7th. Luke Easton 8th. Gunnar Griffin 9th. Dion Felty the top 10. Tyler Taylor, the only car out that made the start. I mentioned before, Steve Myers did not make the start of the race. 1 to green shown at the flag stand for the Cleveland Grade Systems Outlaw non-wing micros drivers. For this feature. Again, 8 laps complete, 7 to go for these non-wing micros. Bartley going high into turn number 3, driving back at that restart cone. Green flags in the air. Bartley going to want to try to get as much space as possible between himself and Ashton Glazier because Glazier's been rolling quick. Trouble again in turns 1 and 2. Luke Easton goes for a half spin. The caution will have to come back out. Vecino himself going for a spin in 3 and 4. 2 separate incidents there. Luke Easton looks like just broke loose by himself. Dion Felty took evasive action. May have clipped that outside wall in turn 1. And then Danny Vecino looks like he also may have just broke loose, trying to get it slowed down in 3 and 4. Doesn't look like we'll complete another lap, so still showing 8 complete. Vecino going to try to get it back rolling in 3 and 4. We'll see. He might need some assistance, it looks like. So again, not really any big changes in this restart order, I don't think. Again, Nolan Bartley, Ashland Glazer, Nathan Rector, your top 3 for this restart. Vecino may be done. Yes, that appears to be the case, trying to bring his car into the infield. He would have restarted 4th. That promotes Wyatt Walters into 4th position now. Seth Buell breaks into the top 5 for the first time this race. Caution lights going out this time. Dawson Wright will restart 6th. Luke Easton in 7th. Excuse me, Dawson Wright, the number 12. Up in 7th. Gunnar Griffin 8th. Dion Felty 9th. And then Luke Easton. Nolan Bartley again leading us back to green on this restart. Waits on the bump from Ashton Glazier. Driving back at that restart cone. Green flags in the air. Glazier much better jump this time on Bartley. All of the top 3 down to the bottom of the racetrack. Glazier a little sideways there on the bottom of the racetrack. We'll see what Nathan Rector can do down low in 3 and 4. Looking underneath of Glazier. A little bit of contact. Got that left rear tire up in the air. Rector throws the slider. Crossover comes back for Glazier. Glazier goes back ahead. Rector throwing in another deep slider. Got a little bit too deep for Nathan Rector. He'll transition back to the high side in 1 and 2. Throwing another slider at 3 and 4, just clear. Nathan Rector able to complete the move on Ashton Glazier. Glazier going to try maybe throw a slider himself. Rector went defensive, too defensive it looks like, and he's going to throw it again. A great battle for second is letting Nolan Bartley get away. 3 laps to go for Nolan Bartley in the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing Outlaw Micro feature. Glazier now powers back ahead of Rector. 2 laps to go. Rector back to the top in 1 and 2 in this battle for second. Wyatt Walters watching them ahead, just taking his time. A white flag in the air for Nolan Bartley. Oh, Bartley clear by over a second now as Walters on the outside of Rector for 3rd. Nolan Bartley off turn 4 is going to get the win in the Cleveland Grain Systems Outlaw non-wing micro feature. 2nd will go to Ashton Glazier. 3rd goes to Nathan Rector. 4th, Wyatt Walters. 5th, Dawson Wright. 6th, Seth Buell. 7th, Gunnar Griffin. Dion Felty. 8th, Luke Easton. 9th were the finishers. Here he is climbing out of the race car. Nolan Bartley out of Hammond, Illinois. Your Cleveland Grain Systems Outlaw non-wing micro feature winner tonight at Coles County Speedway.
It's still on.
Nolan, you got yourself another win at Coles County, your third win of the year here. Your car was really fast tonight. Talk me through how you defended this lead from Ashton Glazier.
Yeah, off that last restart, I seen his nose peeking down, so I was just trying to do anything I could to keep him behind me, and luckily we got the win. And I'd like to thank my mom, dad, grandma and grandpa, and Ryan for making this car so fast tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again, Nolan. Your feature winner tonight in the Cleveland Grain Systems Outlaw Non-Wing Micros.
Good job, buddy.
Next feature up, the Bates Inc. and Apparel Restricted Micros. Again, as I just mentioned, your Bates Inc. and Apparel Restricted Micro feature up next. 7 enter tonight, going for 15 laps. Dalton clearing the number 22D out of Marine, Illinois, will lead the Restricted Micros to the green. Alongside him, the number 36 of Jackson Cates out of Springfield, Illinois. On row number 2, the third place starter, the number 21 of Henry Schneider out of Lincoln, Illinois. In fourth, the driver out of Springfield, Illinois, the 11S of RJ Smith. In fifth is the 12B of AJ Barber out of Argenta, Illinois. Blake Dishman alongside him, the B8 out of Bismarck, Illinois. Seventh and final starter in this feature field, the number 14 of Niles Tudor out of Harrisburg, Illinois. At your Bates Inc. and Apparel Restricted Micro Feature. Caution lights out around the racetrack. Dalton Cleary, Jackson Cates, again, your front row for this feature. With control of the field, passes the start cone. Green flags in the air for the Bates Inc. and Apparel Restricted Micro Feature. Great jump for Dalton Cleary. We saw it earlier tonight. That car just shoots out to the lead like a rocket. Has already gained a massive lead over the field. Almost a 1 second lead at the end of lap number 1. A big wiggle for the 12. Something maybe a miss for AJ Barber. Got it super low into turns 1 and 2. Blake Dishman as well struggling with the handling of that race car. Those drivers 5th through 7th right now. Out in front, Dalton Cleary, a 1 second advantage over Jackson Cates at the line. RJ Smith up to 3rd on that last lap over Henry Schneider. Dishman 4th, AJ Barber 6th, Niles Tudor in 7th. 4 laps now complete for Dalton Cleary with this lead. 1.5 seconds the advantage. Trouble further back in the pack. Dishman trying to get to the infield. Niles Tudor had to go evasive around the bottom of the racetrack right next to the concrete walls. Blake Dishman's car is going to come to a stop next to one of those walls. Race Control going to determine whether they want a caution for this, and they do. That car not in a safe position. Blake Dishman, his car comes to rest in the exit of turn number 4. So track crew will get out there, push Blake Dishman's car into a safer position so we can head back racing. Showing 6 laps as complete with 9 left to go for the Bates Inc. and Apparel Restricted Micro Feature. Dalton Cleary will lead us back to green. Just had his 1.5 second lead erased Jackson Cates in second, R.J. Smith third, A.J. Barber fourth, Niles Tudor fifth, Henry Snyder in sixth was the last lap that was scored. Believe maybe a transponder issue for Henry Snyder, because I do not believe. Yeah, that's definitely not right. Showing him 1 lap down, which he never went a lap down. Caution lights out around the racetrack. Again, Dalton Cleary with control of this field. Brings us back to green for the Bates Inc. Apparel Restricted Micro Feature. 9 laps to go. Man, he waited for that field to catch him. Green flags in the air once again. Again, a huge jump, clear by 2-3 car lengths before he got into turn 1. Jackson Cates running in second, 2 wide, going 3 wide for the 5th position, further back in the pack. Niles Tudor quickly picked off the number 12 of A.J. Barber. Schneider himself now getting picked off by Niles Tudor. Tudor now finds himself up into 4th. That's up in front, Dalton Cleary, clear by 8/10 over Jackson Cates. R.J. Smith, the top 3. Trouble for A.J. Barber there in turns 1 and 2. Got over the berm and into a little bit of the infield. Man, A.J. Barber's car is not handling good at all tonight. Dalton Cleary now leads lap number 10 with 5 laps left to go in the feature. Dalton Cleary going to lead the Bates Inc. Apparel Restricted Micro Feature down to 4 laps to go. Jackson Cates second, R.J. Smith third. Coming under pressure from Niles Tudor for that final spot on the podium. Back into 3. Niles Tudor has found something late in this race. Wouldn't have anything to go contend for the win, I don't think, but he's got a good shot at taking that 3rd spot away from R.J. Smith. Off turn 4, Dalton Cleary, 2 to go this time for the Bates Inc. Apparel Restricted Micro Feature. R.J. Smith now able to pull it back ahead of Niles Tudor. White flag in the air for Dalton Cleary on the Bates Inc. Apparel Restricted Micro Feature. Off turn 2 for the final time is the number 22D. Back off turn number 4. Checkered flag waves for Dalton Cleary, your Bates Inc. Apparel Restricted Micro Feature winner. Jackson Cates in second, R.J. Smith third, Niles Tudor fourth, A.J. Barber, Niles Tudor fourth, Henry Snyder fifth, A.J. Barber sixth. Blake Dishman, the only car out of the race at the end of lap number 4, we credited with a 7th place finish. Dalton Cleary climbing out of your car, your Bates Inc. Apparel Restricted Micro Feature winner tonight at Coles County Speedway. Dalton, that car was a rocket ship tonight. What do you want to thank your team, and how fast was this car, do you think, tonight?
Really fast.
Yeah, absolutely. You're running about half a second faster for a long time over the field. I just don't know how to describe how fast this car was tonight. Do you guys are going to take this on into the future, the same pace, maybe into the KKM Challenge?
Yes, sir.
All right. Anyone you want to thank?
My dad, my mom, my sister, Patriot Landscapes, TW Race Cars, Race Tech Titanium, and that's it.
All right. Once again, congratulations to Dalton Cleary, your Bates Inc. Apparel Restricted Micro Feature winner. One last feature to go tonight. It's the first class towing dirt car pro mod feature. 10 laps going to be their distance tonight. All right, final feature of the night, rolling out onto the racetrack, your first class towing dirt car pro mods. 10 laps for the two drivers, J.D. Evans, the number 59 out of Mattoon, Illinois, down low. Drew Schwartz, 21JR to Ashmore, Illinois, up high. J.D. Evans, Drew Schwartz, your first class towing dirt car pro mod feature is green. Evans, good jump. Once again, Drew Schwartz going to try to roll that top side, get a good run down the backstretch. See if he takes a look underneath. J.D. Evans doesn't, stays right on the back bumper, gives him a little bump, lets him know he's there. Evans going to lead lap number 1. I don't think Drew Schwartz is going to let him get away. Big adjustment time was made down there for Drew Schwartz. It looks like maybe a little too loose. Now it's the 21 JR. Lost a lot of ground to J.D. Evans out in front. 1.2 the advantage for J.D. Evans over Drew Schwartz. Again, I mentioned before, like the heat race, once Drew Schwartz gets some clean air, as he falls back a little bit, he really starts picking up the pace. Picked up a 10th on the leader that last time around. We'll come around to complete lap number 4. 6 laps to go for the first class towing Dirt Car Pro Mod feature. J.D. Evans now really slipping up. Back into 3 and 4. The gap down to about a car length. That's the flag stand. Half a second the lead for Evans at the halfway point. 5 down, 5 to go. And the Pro Mod feature back through 3 and 4. Schwartz is there, holding right at 0.541 was the gap to the leader both the last 2 laps. So Evans doing a great job defensively, keeping that gap the exact same. Schwartz need to find a little bit more. He wants to go fight for this win on maybe the final lap. Is what he's got to be setting up for at this point. We'll come around 2 laps to go this time for J.D. Evans in the first class towing Dirt Car Pro Mod feature. Schwartz is there, half a second exactly the gap. Little slip up on entry, it looks like, for the 21 JR. See if he can get a good run here on the final lap. White flag in the air for J.D. Evans. Evans back to the bottom in 1 and 2. Drew Schwartz tries the top, not going to work out. And J.D. Evans down low through turns 3 and 4 will take the win in the first class towing Dirt Car Pro Mod feature. Drew Schwartz will finish in a second. And here he is climbing out of the race car, J.D. Evans, your first class towing Dirt Car Pro Mod feature winner. All right, JD, I know you would have wished there were a lot more cars out here, but you two still put on a heck of a show. Talk me through your race.
I mean, we're just having fun. We like sport. I want to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just great to see you guys come out here. Obviously, we all wish we could have a few more of these cars, but even then, you guys still had only 2 cars. You guys still put on a great show, finished within a car length of each other. That's a great run tonight. Anyone you want to thank?
Oh, we're equal all the time. It don't matter where we go.
Yeah, absolutely. Any sponsors you want to thank?
Everybody be up there, and well, everybody's here.
All right, thank you, JD. JD Evans, your first class towing Dirt Car Pro Mod feature winner. And with that, the racing action has concluded tonight at Coles County Speedway. It was another great night of racing. We're not done for the week. Come back here Sunday for some sprint car racing with the John Shipman Memorial Race. A lot of the big cars going to come back out, put on another great show. The American Sprint Car Tour coming back here this Sunday. A little bit of an earlier start time, 5:30, the start time on Sunday. We hope everyone drives home safe. Thank you, everyone back at home, for tuning in. We'll see you back here on Sunday night at Coles County Speedway.